Morning everyone. So we're on to composing poetry now. We've had the idea of darkness and light, negativity and positivity, friendship and foe. So you've got the idea of those two. You've hopefully gathered yesterday quite a few words. I just want to show you Bill's. Bill has looked at all of the vocabulary and I've picked out some of his words that I'm going to use. He let me borrow some of his words. And we thought about all the synonyms and antonyms, the similar words and the words that meant the opposite. And I'm going to start to increase that sort of level of vocabulary within my poem. So we've got some gorgeous words here, like faithful was one of the words that you had to look at. And he moved on, he thought about illuminated, flicker, glow, lustrous, radiant. I think Rosie used luminous, which is a beautiful word. Flamboyant I'm going to use because I think it's a lovely word. Jet black, incognito, which of course means, completely hidden. So perpetual, seminarian, which was again, we had a look together and we found out that was to do with living in complete darkness. Mercurial is a great word, and we're going to use it today. It means a change of mood. That mercury is such a strange metal, isn't it? The fact that it's liquid and it moves strangely. It's not, you don't think of it as a metal at all, but mercury is in fact a metal that is liquid at all times. So today we're going to write a poem, and very often we think of darkness as being something negative. Today we're going to be looking at it in a positive way. We're going to be doing in praise of darkness. So I've got a few lines, just 2 or 3 lines to start us off, written by a lady called Annie Fisher, and we're going to be thinking about it as a person, because it's much easier to think of darkness as a person. That's why we did all that personification work earlier in the week about thinking of it as a person. So you can go back to that writing, definitely use some of that writing. That idea of it crawling and creeping and slithering underneath the door, using its bony fingers to eke out the corners of the light. So she wrote, "Praise to you, dark, you show us the stars, you show us the glorious colours of fireworks. You coax the badger and the fox out to play in the moonlight." So she started like that. There are a few little bits that we'd like to look at. So we had a little look at idioms before. Do you remember as dull as dishcloth, which is a simile, but it's also an idiom. It's an expression. So there are some expressions about the darkness that I'd like to share with you. For instance, the darkest hour before dawn. Now that means that just before things start to get better, they seem their absolute worst. The darkest hour is before dawn. It's that time where you think, oh, it's never going to be light, things are never going to get better, and then eventually they do, of course. A shot in the dark. So if you have a shot in the dark, it means that you are trying to do something without all of the information. You can't see, you're just blindly trying to get the right answer without having enough information. And to whistle in the dark is again one of those ones that you are creating a noise, creating a sound within the dark, but you're not really sure where it's going or what it's doing. So have a little look at some of those idioms about the dark. But I'm going to start to think about my poem today. So I borrowed some of Bill's words. Inky, I love the word inky. The black ink is so black, it's just wonderful. Intense. I borrowed flamboyant. I like the idea. Do you know what flamboyant means? It means completely over the top, almost boastful. You might call a flamingo flamboyant, but in this case I want to use it for darkness. I think darkness is flamboyant as well. Tranquility, that calm, the calmness of dark. Ponder. To ponder is to think deeply. Mercurial, like I said, it's that change in mood. Moonlight, we know what moonlight is. Loyal, same as faithful. That's where there are synonyms for faithful. And perpetual, meaning going on forever. So I'm just going to pinch a few of those. You can use lots more. That's why hopefully if you've gathered some really good vocab yesterday, you've got some really nice words to start thinking about and start playing with. Remember, there aren't really rules about poetry. You know me, you do not have to rhyme it. I'm not interested in rhyming because it stops you thinking about the right word. It makes you think about what word will rhyme with that word. So let's have a go. So, inky, jet black darkness ponders its existence. So I'm already thinking about the darkness as being a person personified. Now, tranquility, terrors are banished as tranquility. Tears, can you see I'm using alliteration? Terrors are banished as tranquility. Tears through, leaving the tears behind. So I've got the idea of being frightened, but the darkness leaves you with a sense of calm and of peace, so that you don't have to be scared anymore. You can just be absorbed into it. Oh, I might borrow that. Being, you know, that idea of just melting moments. I like alliteration today, obviously. Loyal and perpetual. So I've got the idea again of that, you know, in the dark you might be thinking of things, you might be thinking of memories. You know, we often, when we're in our beds, just lying in bed, that's where you do a lot of thinking, isn't it? It's where you put the worlds to rights. So that lovely idea of darkness coming and allowing us to stop moving, stop watching, stop working, stop school working, and just relax and be calm, and, you know, let your mind wander and just get a sense of stillness. What should we have? Mercurial moods are quietened. So what else can I have? Have I used moonlight yet? As lustrous. There was one of the words that we thought. Moonlight beckons under the curtain hem. So you've got that idea of the moonlight, just, you know, that moody moonlight just sneaking underneath the curtain hem to lull you even more. What shall I have? Have I used intense? Let's read it through. It's all a bit, sorry. Have a look through. Inky jet black darkness ponders its existence. Terrors are banished as tranquility tears. No, sorry, as tranquility tears through, leaving the tears behind. There, tears and tears. I'm playing with those two words. Melting moments, a bit of alliteration. Loyal and perpetual, mercurial moods are quietened as lustrous moonlight beckons under the curtain hem. And you can carry on. You've got lovely words here. You know, he's used the idea of halo. You know, the idea of a moon halo or the light of halo. You know, the darkness diminishing, illuminating, the daylight coming in, secretively sneaking in. Incognito, that's such a good word. So, like we said before, that being hidden all the time. So have a go. You've got the idea. You just short sentences. Use your vocab. Try and weave your ideas through. Don't get too stressed about it. It can be just sentence after sentence, you know, so long as it's about darkness being your friend. Here, my whole theme is the idea of darkness being the one that comforts us, that keeps us safe at night, that allows us to rest and to stop feeling like we have to work or move or play. You know, it gives us that time for calm and peace. So have a little go. I'd love to see some of them. We've seen some gorgeous writing already building up to this. So have a go, and remember, think of it, definitely, darkness needs to be your friend. So think of it as a person almost. What does that friend do to you? But use your vocabulary, use that strong vocabulary that you've gathered from yesterday. Okay? Bye then.